this convention is to introduce people who don't need introductions. So I'm now going to introduce Patricia Walton.
Wonderful to be here with you. I'm going to begin by thanking Abhijata from our hearts for the talk that she gave yesterday. What a tremendous joy it is to be here together and to receive Abhijata's masterful and insightful teaching. In her voice, we hear Guruji's brilliance and wisdom, Gita's fiery compassion, and Prashant's erudition and humor. By her teaching, we know we're in the presence of an Iyengar. It's been remarkable and inspiring for us to see Abhijata's evolution as a teacher and a practitioner. It was touching to see Guruji's delight and his excitement when he was teaching her in the practice hall. Every morning at the Institute, while Guruji was practicing, Abhijata was next to him and he would teach her. And I think that was a kind of baptism by fire. As many of us know from experience, Guruji was intensively intense. He loved that word, intensively. We could see how demanding he was with her and how he would not settle for anything less than 100%. Often, his teaching would take the forms of questioning. What have you forgotten? Have you ever thought of that? Why has it come on the right and not on the legs? And not on the left? Are you stretching your legs? Now it didn't come better. And then he would insist that she answer right away. When learning from Guruji, she had to be present, moment by moment by moment. He demanded absolute presence of mind, and Abhijata was able to give that. We also saw Guruji teaching Abhijata how to teach. Often in class, when she was teaching, he would say, "Hey, Abhi!" And she would run from the platform to the corner where he was practicing. We marveled at how quickly she could integrate what he gave her and brought it into her teaching in her own words. We also see Gitaji's qualities manifesting in Abhijata. Her tenacity, her fire, her kindness, her ability to see the farthest person in a room full of hundreds of students, and her ability to break down the stages and actions in a pose so that all students could understand. Of course, even learning this way, Abhijata would not be the teacher she is today if she did not have her own qualities. As Guruji once said, she's fast to catch and quick to execute. She had that sharpness of intelligence that enabled to keep up with Guruji's speed and intensity. She has an inner spark that Guruji fanned into a flame. He brought out her qualities from within. After all, this is the nature of the Guru, to remove those inner obstacles that prevent us from teaching to our true potential. In this way, we could say that Abhijata went through the ultimate teacher training program. Through you, Abhijata, we saw Guruji's relationship with you as Guru and grandfather. As demanding as he was of you as your Guru, we also saw his tender affection. You were Guru and Shishya, grandfather, granddaughter. And we were witness to the tremendous love that there was between you. Hi, Satvika. And because we were witnesses to your relationship, you all made us feel closer to him in the last years of his life. As we adjust to no longer having Guruji or Gitaji with us in physical form, we recognize that Abhijata shoulders a tremendous responsibility as one of the guardians of the Iyengar lineage. By being with you and practicing with you together with respect and affection, we are honoring Guruji's legacy, and we are all part of this incredible yoga parampara.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia, for omitting the so many other things that he said. You're never going to know. I have given talks, lectures. I have never given a keynote, so I don't know how it's supposed to come off. But I did think about the key that I want to convey. So if that's what a keynote is supposed to mean, I'm on the right track. Again, since we are all together, well dressed, I would like to formally thank you for having me over again and for giving me yet another opportunity to discover Guruji, to understand and feel him. I want to start this evening with a story. A story of a pose called Gandhabhirundasa. How many of you here have heard of the pose Gandhabhirundasa? Okay. Just a few hands came up. Maybe you were afraid I said come and show. So the majority of you did raise your hand up. It's a pose in which one rests majorly on the chin, on the throat, and he or she stops seated, and the legs come like a back bend to rest on the head in one version, on the floor in another version. So imagine what that would feel like. Now, my side of the story, I did not make a formal beginning in Iyengar yoga. As a schoolgoer, I had flipped through pages of light on yoga, and I had randomly tried a few asanas when I was in Chennai. So I assume now that I must have come across Gandhabhirundasa, but for some reason I can't remember seeing Gandhabhirundasa as a school child. So my inference is that I would have flipped through the pages and discarded the pose as not for me. So obviously I don't remember it. This was during the 1990s. I definitely remember having heard of the pose in early 2000s when I moved to Pune from Chennai for my graduation. I started attending classes at the institute. I even remember seeing someone do it. When he was in the pose, he looked like he was in so much distress. Like that, his eyes were wide, he was bulging, he was sweating, the face was all Dracula-like. It was so frightening to just see that. Being on the throat like that, imagine 60, 70 kilos on this, and the bending of the back, the stress it may cause on the breathing. Funny, I never thought of 60, 70 kilos on two small feet like this. But on the throat, it put me off. So this pose was already in my red alert radar. Naturally, I opted to ignore the pose. I kept it out of my own syllabus. I did what made me comfortable, and that was ignore it rather than deal with it. Now, how many of you here have attempted Gandhabhirundasa? Thank you. Thank you for those who have not raised their hands. I tried the pose at the order of my grandfather, first in 2004, 2005, when I was still attending the classes. Even though I felt delighted at the accomplishment of the pose, he made me do it. My feet were there. He made me do it, but for some reason, I still looked at the pose with the same fear, with the same anxiety, and hence the same indifference. After that day in 2004-2005, I probably tried the asana a few more times, the number I could count with my fingers, in the long association that I've had with my grandfather. Over time, I became a practitioner, a teacher, a senior teacher, an international teacher. Recently, when I was going through some photographs, after Geeta ji also passed away, I somehow had this urge in me that I'll have to go back to them. Let me refer to the old notes, let me look at old photographs. So when I was in the room, in the institute, room number 2, where the old albums are kept, I came across a photograph in which Guruji is making a woman do this pose in a medical class. It was the first time I saw such a photograph. And let me She's a woman who's probably now in her 60s. She was in her 50s maybe when the photograph was taken. She's met with serious accidents, more than one major accident. She can't walk straight. She walks with a limp. Even today, she cannot do. She has her own setup of how she figures out how to do all the asanas. She can't sit in Padmasana, she can't sit in Virasana, she can't even sit in Swastikasana. I really admire her positive strength, her perseverance, her faith in Guruji, that there she is in Gandhabherudasana and Guruji is in front of her like that. And when I saw that photograph, I suddenly recollected that I bore such a negativity towards this asana that I almost discarded its existence. This woman, much older to me, with such medical issues, and Guruji had made her do not in practice, not in class, but in a therapy class. So obviously to address some condition. And here I was, much younger, and fortunately no such medical issues, and just a phobia, because of which I'm not even trying this. In December 2018, how many of you were there in Pune in December 2018? Yeah. So in December 2018, I gave a talk for the centenary celebration. I intended to give a presentation on what is Iyengar Yoga, and I ended up not with that presentation. I shared with the audience the ramblings of my mind. I shared with the audience my questions. A big question that I had at almost every thought I had of Guruji, which was, am I qualified to call myself an Iyengar Yoga teacher? Do I deserve to use the name Iyengar? Mind you, this is not about the surname, this is not about the permission. I had the permission. Having permission is one thing, but living up to it is another thing altogether. And I thought aloud in front of the audience, and the answer was in the negative. I was not qualified. And at the end of the talk, when I wanted to offer something to my guru because of my love for him, because of my gratitude, because of so many emotions that I have for him, it occurred to me that the only thing that I can offer to him, nothing else will do justice. The only thing that I can offer to him is an oath, a promise, that I will do something to change the situation, that I will make myself qualified to use the name Iyengar. This oath came to my mind as I saw the Gandhabherudasana. Timing. It was not about accomplishing the post. It was not whether I was going to do the final post. It was about my mental poverty, because of which I was discarding the asana. I thought to myself, this doesn't look so bad. Let me try it. So I decided that soon I would recreate the setup that I saw in the photograph of Guruji making a woman do the medical class. I decided that I would recreate that setup and I would practice this pose one day. So sitting in front of the album in my house, I decided that I will practice backbending properly so that I may reach this Gandhabherudasana. When I came to the institute to practice, there were a few days when I did backbending amongst the so many other categories that I chose on different days. On the days that I did backbending, by the time I came to Kapotasana, I realized I had to work on my back better. And I went to the reverse direction to improve my body. On one day it was Kapotasana, one day it was Ekpadaraj Kapotasana, one day it was Ekpadar Vidandasana 2. But it always stopped me and took me back in the reverse direction to improve my mobility, my access, my communication with my body. It was going to be a fortnight since I saw that photo of Gandhabherudasana. I was so angry and frustrated at myself for not having practiced well in my earlier years, which I thought would have surely contributed to my Gandhabherudasana today, to at least approach the asana. Scene 2. This happened in the month of January. This was the time zone in which the institute was having special classes for certain communities, for certain people from certain countries that don't get to come to Pune often. So we had a year of celebration starting 2018 January to February 2020. It was a different experience because I was interacting with the people more. It was an intensive which went on for weeks and which happened every month. So I was dealing with people closely and also extensively. January 2019, 2 weeks since Geeta ji had passed. And the whole atmosphere was so heavy. In the first class for the Hong Kong group that I took in January, I got so emotional as Geeta ji was not there for the first time. She was not there for the first time in that year-long celebration that we had. In that intensive, in one of the classes, I was teaching Shirshasana. And I called out for doubts about Shirshasana. Chris, are you here? Yeah. So Chris and I had to talk about that. The questions that came about Shirshasana. I had a headache for almost 2 days. How to place the forearms. How to decide the distance of the elbows. How to keep the wrist. How much to press the fingers. How much should be the opening between the wrists. How should the radius be and how should the ulna be. And when that is being done, if the crown of the head changes its position, what is to be given priority? Which is the crown of the head? How should the occipital bone be? How should the ears be? My God! I was just taken aback. This is nothing about the Hong Kong group. It's just about the thought process. If I had invited questions about other asanas for other groups, and it was always such complex questions, but I remember this because I was very emotional because Geeta ji had passed away. And in that class I spoke with some of the older students that were there, and they shared about how Guruji never used so many words. He probably didn't use the word radius and ulna at all for those many years there. And he would make the student do the pose, reach the pose, feel the pose, and it's done. I thought about how Geeta ji would take over the class, she would take over the stage, and she would weave the class in such a manner that she would take the student, am I speaking too fast? That she would take the student to the zone of the asana, the zone of yoga, the zone of Guruji. And I suddenly recollected what she had told me a few months after I delivered my second child. She said, just do the asanas. Don't think too much. For 1 year, just do the asanas. And in one flash, the Gandharva came to me again. I realized how much I was intellectualizing a pose that I feared. How was my analytical brain going to sit on a sofa and comprehend an asana? How can I sit and talk about Iyengar yoga and proclaim to be an Iyengar yoga teacher if I don't get on my feet and remove my own fears? Can intellect ever remove fear? Can mere instructions give me an asana? Are techniques the gateway to get acquainted with an asana? Is the realization or notion that I should have practiced better in the last 15 years the answer to my current situation? How can I depend upon my brain to mitigate an emotion? Okay, if it's about improving backbending, yes. But by simply improving the mobility in my spine, does my fear go? Yes, I have to improve my mobility in my spine to weed out the fear. But will that suffice? The next day, I decided, enough is enough. Can I have the video?
This is as good a descent as it's possible to make. to its mother's calls. The resilience of a barnacle goose chick is extraordinary. But there are still chicks unaccounted for, somewhere amongst the rubble. The parents can't risk searching because they need to lead their two survivors away quickly before predators arrive. A third one has made it. But it needs to catch up. Chicks have made it. Without such a dramatic start in life, it's unlikely any of them would have even got this far.
That's the rite of passage for every barnacle goose chick. It's called the first step. So next day, I went up to Urdhva Dhanurasana. Shirshasana, drop back to Dalita Dandasana. Full arm balance, drop back to Urdhva Dhanurasana. Elbow balance, drop back. And Gandhabhirudasana as per the photo. And I was so shocked that the Gandhabhirudasana, not the final pose, the stage where you're up, the legs are bent, you're arched, it was not a killer at all. It happened. In fact, I was impressed with myself instead of being angry at myself. Why did I keep it so much away from me for the last so many years? Why did my brain do this to me? Why are we so selective that we often mislead ourselves? This brings us to the first event, perception. My perception of Gandhabhirudasana was not based on the Gandhabhirudasana, but it was based on me, my mobility, my flexibility, my body weight, my age, my experience. By experience, I mean, oh, I'm just 3 years into, I'm the yoga, let Gandhabhirudasana wait. Our perception is unfortunately based on our belief systems and not on reality. Did the chick see the leap as a leap that has to be executed? Or did it look at the height, the landscape, the fear of injury, its infancy, etc.? Did I see Gandhabhirudasana as Gandhabhirudasana? Or did I see Gandhabhirudasana as a pose difficult, complicated, advanced for me because I'm not ready, I'm stiff, I'm heavy, I'm fat, I'm old? Did I see with my eyes or did I see with my intellect? The difference is stark. When we see with our eyes, we just see. However, our intellect has a huge baggage. And when that interferes with seeing, which it invariably does, we lose reality. Whether it is our perception of BKS Iyengar, or your friend, your enemy, your job. What is intelligence? Intelligence is a composite structure of intellect and memory. The chick saw the valley, and the chick instinctively knew for survival it has to jump. And it jumped. Had it seen with its intellect, it would have realized what a stupidity it was. What a dangerous and silly exercise it would have been. It could have been hurt, it could have been crippled for life, it could have died. If this thought had come in, the chick would not have taken the first step. I didn't do Gandhabhirudasana. With thought, we divide. Thought in itself is divisive by nature. When you are in the present, you just are. You don't think, you are. That's purity, and that is what yoga is all about. It's so simple. I erred at the first step, the step of seeing Gandharva. I leave this story here. Let me tell you another story now. In a village far away from any city, it was a village close to a jungle. A boy lived there with his family. He was always curious about the jungle, what lies behind that wall there. But as a young boy, he was advised by his family, by his elders, not to go to the jungle alone. Even if you are accompanied by an adult, you have to go there only during the day. There are dangerous animals in the jungle. There are poisonous snakes. Now with all this, the curiosity of the boy kept going up. He just grew. But with all these, the cautions kept coming. But because of this fear that was instilled in him by the others, he suppressed his curiosity. Now one day, he was in a stream. He was by the stream near his hut. He was filling water in a pot. From the direction of the jungle, he heard a song of a bird. He heard a melodious tune coming out from the jungle. He stopped filling the water. The sound stopped. He looks towards the jungle, and the bird sings again. He could not spot the bird. He just got up, climbed over the wall, and went into the jungle. He entered the jungle. The jungle was green, lush, dark green. There were huge trees, many bushes, flowers, colorful flowers, thorns, stones. But it was nothing like what he had heard. Because he had an image of a jungle which was danger, which was animals, which was poisonous snakes. He didn't see anything like that. He looks around and he's fascinated by the beauty of it all. And suddenly, he hears the bird again. There's no path in the jungle, mind you. There are no walkways, no paths, no roads. He relies on only one thing, and that's the sound, the song of the bird. He follows in that direction. Slowly he comes nearer and nearer to the bird because the sound becomes louder, the song becomes louder and louder. Suddenly he realizes that the bird is right above him. It's perched on a tree under which he is standing. He turns his neck, he looks up at the bird, and the bird sings again. This boy is delighted now. The bird flies away. He sees the panorama of the jungle, where he's lured in by one bird, and he sees in front of him nature at its best. By the way, my flight to Dallas was also lovely. I had to get to Mumbai. I didn't have a flight from Pune. I had to get the flight from Mumbai. So I had to get to the highway connecting Pune and Mumbai. And through some streets in Mumbai, I had to arrive at the airport. I did what most modern urban people do these days, our savior, Google Maps. I put my current location, I put my destination, and I started following the screen. I precisely reached the destination as the screen told me, as my phone told me, your destination is to your right. The objectivity of Guruji's teachings is that precise. Follow the techniques and we will reach the destination, whether it is Mumbai Airport or Uttanasana. The thing is, we look at Iyengar Yoga as only that aspect, objective, instructional. Like I followed the Google map to get to Mumbai Airport. I didn't look out the windows. I didn't see the landscape. I didn't hear the birds sing. I didn't hear the cows move. I didn't hear my children chatter. I didn't hear my children sing. I didn't notice the sunset. I didn't see the color of the sky change. I was only with the screen for where I was supposed to go. What are the directions? I didn't care about the journey. I was only attached to my destination. Do we really care about a journey? Or do we just say so? Guruji said, yoga is the means and yoga is the end. Meaning, yoga is the journey, yoga is is the destination. The journey of Iyengar yoga. By the way, the person who went after the song of the bird was Guruji. He went after the song of yoga, into the jungle, searching, exploring, curious like a child, fascinated because he followed the song of the bird. He followed Yoga Anushasan. The bird was yoga, the boy was Sundar Raja. Exploring the path of practice. What is the picture of our practice? What do we relate to more? How do you work? Like the boy in the jungle or the girl with the Google map? Let's get the right perspective. Let's come to the logical start point. Let's look at the journey of an Iyengar yoga student. I roughly categorize people here into two groups, class goers and practitioners. How many of you here identify yourself as class goers of Iyengar yoga? That's all? How many of you here identify yourselves as practitioners of Iyengar yoga? Wow. Now class goers have the ability or they have the liberty rather to attend the classes and not really think about it. No introspection, no exploration, no thinking, nothing. The only commitment a class goer has to show is to turn up for the class. Then it's the responsibility of the teacher. It is the teacher's job. Class is like the Google map. Extremely practical, needed, useful, and importantly shows you the destination. And for teachers of Guruji's caliber, they could even take you to the deepest jungle and show us the grandeur of yoga, of the jungle. But for a practitioner, it's a completely different deal. Whether it is his practice or whether he attends a class, it is his own path, his own journey, his or her own experience. What is it to practice? Is it attaining or trying to attain various postures in the absence of a class discipline, in the absence of a teacher? And who is a practitioner? Just one who practices? Just one who is able to reconnect all the points of some class? You can download a Google map and access it offline. But that's not the journey. There is a difference between a commute and a journey. There is a difference between a commute and a journey. I remember a practice session years ago. I had walked into the hall at the institute and Guruji was there on the stool doing Mudra. I did not know what to do because in my head I had just done forward bends yesterday and back bends I thought Guruji is already in a back bend, so let me not get into that. Twisting poses, no, I don't feel very well in my stomach. So what do I do? As I walked into the hall with these thoughts in my mind, I went to the grill. For those of you who've seen the institute, I went to the back edge of the grill. I lifted my leg up and I went to Uttita Marichasan while deciding what to do. Guruji came out of his pose. He called out me. He said, "Come here. Do back bending on the rope." Okay. Padam Dhanurasan. You don't know Padam Dhanurasan. Your reaction tells me you don't know Padam Dhanurasan. You're on your stomach. You go, the legs up, the arms from up to go back to hold the feet. So I just walked into the hall for class and I'm barely starting my Uttita Marichasan and Guruji says, "Do Padam Dhanurasan." I was a little perplexed. I said, "But Tata is grandfather." I said, "But Tata, I've just come in." He said, "Okay, that's why I'm giving you the rope. Do it on the rope." I said, "But I'm feeling stiff." I said, "Please, can you give me 10 minutes? I'll do something and I'll come." Stiff it seems. You know very well how to waste time. Learn to use it. Okay, Tata, 5 minutes. Let me do something and I'll come to Padam. Do, he said. And the do was so powerful. For those of you who've been in front of him like that, it was almost like his eyebrows came and touched me. And then he said, "Stiffness is all in the mind." Stiffness is all in the mind. Okay, now I didn't The wrestler that was there all along here was behind the ceiling rope. So I had to get over the ceiling rope, arch myself. The thighs were over the horse. Under the horse, the ankles rest on the pipe. And then my hands had to come over the head. And Pada Mushu Dhanurasana means the fingers have to hold the toes. Now my palms were here, my feet were there. What's going to happen? Then came the climax. Guruji walks in front. He says, hey, hold your legs. So somebody comes and presses onto my thighs downwards. He comes to my elbows. He holds my elbows and he presses them. He does something. I hear tap, 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 tap in my spine. And then my palms meet my feet. I was surprised. In my head, I had to warm up. There was logic to it. I've been taught so, my experience tells me so. That's what he has told us. He's taught us sequencing, he's taught us methodology. I don't know what just happened. But I was happy because my fingers had touched my toes, so I came out beaming with a smile. It was as though Guruji read my mind and he said, learn to open your mind. Then your body will follow. That was such a revelation. And then he said, you are petty-minded. Your efforts are petty. And hence, the effects are petty. Not pretty, petty. And you think this is yoga. Yoga, he said, is freedom. And freedom is infinite. To go towards freedom must require such a tremendous openness in our minds. If I try that pose today, I might get it, I might not get it, but that's not the point. It's not about attaining that pose. It's about whether my mind is open to let something dawn upon me. I would be stupid if I think that's the only way to get into Pada Mushu Dhanurasana and all the other ways are wrong. The point is my mind was not open and Guruji opened my mind. The lesson was being open. Now being open is a cliched statement. We've all heard it. The world knows it. But nothing has changed. So we need to introspect. Being open. Being open means what? Guruji says, freedom. Freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from something itself means freedom from bondage. What is bondage? Now if bondage is understood, getting out of it would be so simple because you realize it's bondage. So basically, we first need to understand mind. When Guruji says, mind can be your friend, mind can be your foe, it's a very deep statement. Mind can be your friend, mind can be your foe. Openness is a state. It is. The mind's core characteristic is to be in that state, in that open state. But our buddhi, our intelligence closes the mind. This is what the concept of Ishvara Pranidhana actually is. Ishvara Pranidhana, for those of you who have heard, is translated as surrender to God. Pranidhana is not just surrender as we understand it. Pranidhana is a state. Surrender is a state where there is no question. Think about it. When do you do something without any question? When do you just do something? No question, no doubt, no analysis. It's only where there is love. Surrender and love are together. Anyway, so unless we understand this closing of the mind, we will never understand what is opening of the mind. Cut to story number 1. The chicks leap. My anxiety of Gandharva. The chicks fearless leap. Our thought process on a 6-day convention as opposed to a 3-day convention. The chicks fearless leap. Our anxiety about our future. The chicks fearless leap. Our practice. It is as straightforward as that. Today's world has a deterministic view of everything, which means aim, things needed, procedure, results. And of course, before that, there are the expected results. The problem is with this linear on expected results. And what are the expected results based on? They are based on what has happened in the past. So jumpings to get some mobility, inversions to freshen up, forward bends to quieten. That is bondage. We didn't see backbending and quietness. We didn't see jumpings for somatic relaxation. We didn't see Parinita Trikonasana for Shavasana that we experience today. Or we don't see pranayama for alertness. By looking at any situation from our memory like this, we lose track of reality, which is multidimensional. B.K.S. Iyengar has said, keep your mind open, see what happens. Practice of asanas is to culture your mind, he has said. But we don't have that perspective at all. What is it to practice? What is it to explore? Why should practice be an exploration? Because exploration itself means no expectations, no anticipations. You're just there, just alert, like the boy was in the jungle. Yoga is more poetic because of the song of that bird. Yoga is a science, is an art, is a philosophy. To the leap of that chick, there is a science. Attenborough called it the perfect position. There is an art to it, there is a philosophy to it. If it is skewed, art, science, art and philosophy, if this tripod is skewed, if one of these three takes over, the balance is gone. So too is it with yoga. Some of us are caught so much in the science of it, the prescription of it, it's so precise that you miss hearing the song of the bird. Some of us are caught so much in the art of it, the approach may be so vague, the position is so much on a shaky ground, that it can never guarantee that experience. Or it can never generate, by guarantee, it can never generate that experience. And some of us believe it to be only philosophy. And when we do that, they too miss savoring the experience because, I don't know, you look at it as philosophy and you may say that the song of the bird is a distraction. You should not be hearing the song of the bird if it's a philosophy. What is philosophy? It is love of wisdom. The word literally love of wisdom. If you flow in tune with life, wisdom dawns. Philosophy of yoga is perceived as intellectualization. By intellectualization, what we do, we try and break yoga into fragments. Yama, niyama, asana, standing pose, sitting pose, forward bendings, supine, chest opening, abdominal lengthening. We break it into such fragments and then we try to reorganize it. Break it and then reorganize it. Break it and then reorganize it. It's such a waste of time. Sundararaja, while hearing the song of the bird, discovered that Ashtanga Yoga is like the blooming of a flower. What a brilliant concept. Ashtanga Yoga is not steps of a ladder, it's not steps, but it's a flower. What a brilliant concept he struck upon while he was in the jungle. I heard of, in the Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Barbosa. He's paraphrased it beautifully for me. Let me just copy-paste. For certain, you have to be lost to find a place that can't be found. For certain, you have to be lost to find a place that can't be found. Elsewise, everyone would know where it is. To explore. To explore means to travel through an unfamiliar area in order to learn about it. Now, especially when this is a subjective pursuit, when they found that the earth was round, when America was discovered, when India was discovered, it was objective. He found it for us and we are thankful. But in this subjective pursuit, it's new for each individual and it's new each time. So Guruji has found out that forward bends good for high blood pressure. The Google map is ready. But as an exploration, each practitioner has to stumble upon this discovery on his or her own. What Janu Shirshasana does to your blood pressure, what Janu Shirshasana does to your hypertension, what Janu Shirshasana does to your restlessness must be a discovery each one of us makes. There is a huge difference. Today in the morning I was telling you about the 3 types of cognition, pratyaksha, anumana and agama. So like I said, unless it comes from real perception, it is not real. How do we perceive this reality? When I thought about how do I explain to you that we don't see reality as reality, another incident occurred to my mind. It was the monsoon season in Pune. So for those of you who've been to the institute, you know the library. The library is underground, below ground level. So there is a staircase which leads you to the library. And then Guruji would be in the library every afternoon. So one day after the medical class, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe it was a Tuesday, it was 4 o'clock, it was a Tuesday. So Guruji after the medical class, we thought he's gone home. So when I go home, Guruji is not there. I asked Geeta ji, my aunt, where is Guruji? And she said, I thought he was still in class. But I knew that he has left the class. So where was he? To go to the library, and he was in the library. So 2 to 4 library, 4 to 6 class, 6 onwards, again the library. Now, Guruji didn't tell us anything. He was working on a book back then. Then another lady who was in the library later disclosed to me that Guruji fell. Because the ground was slippery, this was when he was close to his 90. He slipped because the floor was wet. He slipped and he fell. It was only after that, for those of you who've been to the library recently, we put that ramp. Otherwise, the step was there. So Guruji fell up, but then he got up. Okay. So I asked Guruji, Dada, you fell, what happened? And he was working on that book. And then after he comes home, he's sitting on the chair, and I see he was rubbing his knee as he was watching television. Is it paining? Some oil? Some doctor? Should we show? No. The next day we go for practice. Guruji's walking was not normal. But he walked up, he climbed up, he came to his practice, he went about the practice. For those of you who've seen Guruji practice in his later years, chair kapotasana was something that he did very regularly. Have you seen it? You Google it, Iyengar on chair kapotasana. It has to be PK Iyengar, only then you get the beauty of it. Otherwise it's a poor replica. So how it happens is Guruji would get into the chair, and then he would bend his knee to insert it, to put it on the horizontal bars, and then he would arch back. I'm in a sari, otherwise I would have demonstrated it for you. And then he gets into the pose. Now because his knee was hurt, he could not bend his knee to put it in that angle. So we tried to help him. Somehow we take him into the pose, but Guruji, something was not right. So Guruji said, put a weight, put a sticky mat piece behind it, put a brick under it. He was changing the angulation, the pressure of the weight, but it was not helping him. And then he says in Marathi, Zaudya. He says, let it be. You don't know how to help me. Let it be. I will come out and do the independent pose. I will just do the pose, and he comes out, puts a thick mat, and he goes for kapotasana independent. Now what is reality? Is it getting onto the chair, or was it that he wanted to hear the song of kapotasana? What was the real reality? So as I was thinking this, another thought came to my mind when Guruji's wife passed away. So Guruji had this weekly commitment. He would go to Mumbai. His wife was not well. So Guruji told Ramamani that maybe this time, and it's a record, you can ask the Bombay people, he's never missed a single class, not a single absenteeism. So he tells Ramamani, he says, you're not well, so I will tell them I can't come this time, they can practice. And Ramamani says, no, you have not missed a single class. You go, I'll take care. So Guruji goes to Bombay, and then I think he was told that on Sunday he has to come back earlier or something like that. So somebody goes to pick up Guruji from the station. He comes back by train, and they ask Guruji, sir, do you want to go to the hospital or do you want to go home? They have not yet told Guruji that Ramamani has expired, because they didn't know how to tell him how he would take it. So he asks Guruji, so do we go home or should we go to the hospital? And Guruji tells them, is she alive or is she no more? This person goes silent because the question is so direct. And Guruji says, if she's alive, take me to the hospital. If she's no more, the kids are in the house, take me home. And they took Guruji home because the children, young children, were home. So how can a man see reality as real as it can be? context of the present. If we don't get the other of any situation, it is skewed and we are screwed. The Yoga Sutras itself begin with atha, the word atha. Atha means now. We are either in the past or we project the past into the future. In this endeavor, what we lose is the present. Where there is now, the past is irrelevant. Where you come from, how many years, what you've done, what's your experience, what's your past, they are all put to rest. They have all contributed. They have all led you to this one point of time. But now, they are put to rest. That is the meaning of atha. An explorer, a practitioner, a yogi, their pulse is atha. Their pulse is now. Where it is now, it's purified memory. And where there is purified memory, only there is now. We are afraid of casting aside the Google Maps. So, it's but convenient for us to stick to known sequences, known asanas, known routines, known pranayama, known results. All these known things sprout from the images of these things that we have in our head. Our image that a long session of forward bends brings some soreness here in the hamstring. So anytime we adapt our practice of forward bends to avoid that pain. The problem with any image is we either go towards the image or we go away from the image. Image has its source in memory. Where we are afraid to explore the jungle because of the image. What we have, the image that we have, or the image that is presented to us, we will never hear the song of the bird. We will never know there is a bird. There is its song because we are too much caught in the cacophony of life. Nowadays, what we do is we go on a jungle safari. How can that exist? Jungle safari, where there is predicted wilderness. Such an oxymoron, metered dose of wilderness. Why did I miss the song of Gandha for so many years? What was it? Fear of failure? Fear of pain? Fear of injury? Fear of people's reactions? Fear sprouts from the thought of losing. We fear losing health, losing life. We fear losing money, we want more money. We fear losing our position, others overtaking us, we want to go higher up the ladder. We fear losing name, we want to repeat what caused success. We fear losing balance in Shirshasana, we never think about leaving the wall. Basically, fear comes from the thought of losing what we have, and what we have again is an image. Our name, our position, our money, our fame. All these are but images that we have about ourselves. Our relationships are also tainted by fear. We transmit fear instead of love, which comes out by us imposing guilt. Teacher on a student, parent on a husband, a parent on a child, wife on a husband. Or it manifests as revenge, shed repose. So basically you see it's a big problem. Yoga practitioners hence have no alternative to Smriti Parishuddhi. It's a must. Purification of memory, vanquishing images is the way to go about it. Fear is a bad thing, a very bad thing. It closes the door for growth. It's detrimental. With fear, you attain nothing. And even if you do, it's temporary. As a class goer, it is a teacher's skill to remove the fear in that situation. Whereas a practitioner is the chick. A practitioner is the boy in the jungle. Guruji's brilliance was he made objective the seemingly intangible things. Mind, intelligence, consciousness, etc. Intangible. But these are at least known intangible things. What about the unknown intangible things? What about my fear of the Devirodasana? What about my fear of being in good books? What about the fear of assessments? What about the fear of losing students? What about all of those? Once, how many more minutes do I have? Alright. I'm sorry to the dancers who are ready, I'll apologize later. But I'm having fun. shared this story before. He made me stand up on a stool. So if this was the stool, he made me stand on the stool and I had to come forward for Uttanasana. So as he asked me to come forward, I stepped back. He said, walk forward, toes have to be out of the stool. And that practice session went on. And he said, see how much fear is there in the big toe. So don't give the stool to the big toe. The fear should be removed and roll the buttocks over. Imagine the fear of rolling the buttocks over from a height. You're going to fall. Now, a class goer who tastes this Uttanasana, he's either fascinated by it because he suddenly realizes the fear, he suddenly realizes a new movement, or he falls from the stool and he discards it. He'll never do it again. But whatever it is, for a class goer, Uttanasana on the stool is over. And one who practices, he remembers. He keeps in mind that Guruji used the stool, he said thighs like this, knees like this, toes forward, this was the height of the stool. So one who practices remembers these techniques. And how is a practitioner? Who is a practitioner? A practitioner is one who keeps in mind that Guruji has said, see how much fear is there in the big toe, and hence blah blah blah. Now what should the front of the thighs be doing when the fear is manifesting? What should the ankles do to mitigate that massive fear of huge thighs and buttocks rolling over and falling like that? And how should the mind accept this fear and go with the flow of Uttanasana? Because the point is, you are chasing the song of Uttanasana. This makes the practitioner sensitive. This makes the practitioner understand where else in his life fear manifests. This makes the practitioner intelligent to devise a way when something instills fear in him or fear in her. This is what yoga is about. It is about changing your software. It's not about changing your hardware. And if an Iyengar yoga practitioner cannot understand this, whether his chin reaches his shin or not is immaterial. It's besides the point. When Gitaji said, it is your practice that brings the secrets to you, no teacher can give you the secrets. She is referring to the song of yoga. The natural progression, just a passing remark. So the natural progression is it's only a practitioner who can be a good teacher. Now fear is the latch. Fear is the latch which closes the door of the mind, and there's no key to that. So in my keynote, there's no key. Let's revisit. A few more minutes and towards the end. Now where does this fear come from? Let's revisit some asana that you were afraid of. Take Shirshasana for example. So when you were in the class, you were taught. You were given instructions in Shirshasana. Now when the instructions of Shirshasana are used indiscreetly, they take Shirshasana away from a student. Don't drop the shoulders, otherwise you will injure your neck. And you don't want that. Inner legs lift up because that's the correct thing to do. If you stay for 10 minutes, you are a good student, otherwise your practice is poor. You are not up to mark. These come from words. Every time I climb up the escalator, my daughter scolds me. I have taught her, and she was her first time to go up the escalator, I said, don't step on the yellow line. And every time she comes in front of an escalator, she says, why did you say that to me? Now every time I'm in front of an escalator, it's only the yellow line which comes to me. If you had not said it, I would have been up there by now. And every time I feel so ashamed when she asks me this question. Why did I instill this fear of the yellow line? It comes from words. This fear comes from words. Words create images. I feel that we use too many words nowadays. Too many detailed expressions. It's almost like it's become the USP of an Iyengar yoga teacher. Involuntarily, unknowingly, the teacher is instilling fear. Let's face it. I have to state it. It's having a negative impact. Imagine your baby being born. The baby starts to stand up, and you tell the baby, stand up, quadriceps up. Feet parallel. You're learning to walk, put the feet parallel. Go in one line. Hold your head up. Raise your chest up. Walk straight. The child will say, I'm not going to walk. You keep carrying me here. Words are tricky. Why am I not lifting? Should I strengthen my shoulders? Should I go to another class? Should I go to another teacher? This is what keeps coming to us. Where there is no thought, there is no word. And that is meditation. Shavasana. Be quiet, don't think. Done. All you can do is but think. Or another situation is don't be afraid. No value. Don't be afraid is as redundant an instruction as it can get. Don't be afraid is not going to remove the fear. Once in an interview, I decided I would ask Guruji questions. So I drafted a set of questions and I asked him, so you say yoga is a way of life, but how do we learn this variety? And he said, oh, it's easy. One asana you learn, all the asanas you will learn. What does my grandfather say? Where is Trayamukhottanasan and where is Paschimottanasana? Where is Tadasan, where is Shavasana? Where is Ardhamatsyardrasana 2 and where is Yoga Nidrasana? How is Guruji saying, learn one asana, then you know to learn all the asanas? I was shocked. And now I understand, it's just about hearing the song of the bird. Am I asking all of you to be eccentric, to be erratic? No. To learn any language, one first has to learn the alphabets. He has to understand the rules of grammar. You have to know the basic techniques of an asana. You have to know the basic logic and principles of sequencing. But when language becomes a part of you, and you move on to the plane of writing poetry, the rules of grammar become redundant. You acquire the freedom of breaking those rules. At some point in time, each one should attempt to write a poem, to create poetry. A practitioner is a poet. We need to have the viveka. We need to have the discrimination and discern when usefulness becomes a harm, an obstacle, a bondage. A practitioner knows that it is about the experience of an asana. Are you able to see the asana? Are you having the communication with yourself? So please, don't make Iyengar Yoga a manual. It's not just a cookbook. It's the joy the food gives you. Iyengar Yoga is meant to give you that joy. A practitioner is one who generates that experience. Not that he's successful on all days, but he knows that bhavana, that feeling is the point. Now, the boy who heard the song of the bird. The problem is, to the bird, it didn't mean anything. But to the boy, he's so amazed at the song of the bird. The problem is, the next day, if the boy goes back to the stream at that specific time and waits to hear the song of the bird, that's a problem. He may be lucky, he may hear the song again, but he will feel that yesterday's song was better. Or he discards the song of other birds because in his head, in his image, yesterday's song was the best. For a practitioner, every day is new. Every day is fresh. An explorer has no expectations. So having heard the song of the bird, the system has to be rebooted every time. As innocent as a child. Sweet innocence. Innocence is not only about being a child. It's a state of mind where your past does not adulter your present. Future is not imposed on the present. Innocence is pure. And when I think of this boy in the jungle with the song of the bird, you know, Lord Shankara, it is said that Shiva gave the secret of yoga to Parvati first. And in that text, Shankara says, Vismayo, he says, Vismayo Yoga Bhumika, which means astonishment is the preface of yoga. If you feel that awe, if you feel that wonder, if you feel that wow,